Hello, fifth grade. Welcome back. So today we're going to be doing the pencil bowing again, but this time we're going to apply the pencil bowing to actually use it in music. So together, find your pencil first and get it ready, and we're going to go over how to hold the pencil bow again. So pause the video, and then when you're ready with your pencil, hit play. Okay, so to start, we have to hold our pencil in our left hand first. We're going to place the pencil into our right hand, which is the hand that we bow with. So make sure that you know which one's your left from your right, and hold the pencil tip inside your left hand with the eraser end up. Next, place your palm out in front of you, lay it flat, and then you're going to place the pencil horizontally or across your middle finger and your ring finger along the first crease inside your palm. When you lay it flat on there, you want to make sure that you bend your thumb and then touch the stick with the tip of your thumb across for the middle finger. Now, keep your thumb bent, and you'll see that my middle finger and my ring finger are slightly past the pencil while I'm pushing the pencil up into my first crease of my middle finger, which is also pushing on the first crease of my ring finger. Next, let's go over, we're going to try doing the violin viola bow hold. So drop your first finger down, your index finger, and then bend your pinky and place the tip of your pinky on the pencil. Again, always keeping your thumb bent and using your thumb tip to push the pencil up into your middle finger. The other fingers are just laying on there. You're not squeezing. You're just kind of gently holding the pencil and keeping it from falling out of your hand. Once you have this in place, we're going to turn our pencil eraser end up. Then we're going to bring our arm to the right side of our body. Bring the pencil in front of our arm and close your elbow so that way it's upright, and keep it parallel to your body, completely vertical and perpendicular to the ground. Now we're going to go over the movement real quick on how we go down and up with the bow. This is the up position. We're going to start down and then move up. Let's go down slowly and keep the arm against your side of your body, but just open the elbow out so that way you can keep the pencil straight, move your wrist the opposite direction that your elbow is moving. You want to keep it always perpendicular to you and always, perpendicular to the ground and always parallel to your body. Now, make sure that you're not using your shoulder. Now, you can use a little bit of your shoulder, but really, you want to just keep your elbow and wrist moving. I don't want to see any of this for your bowing, okay? You want to just use the elbow. Let's reset and try it again. Moving down all the way as far as you can go. And as far as you can go to keep the pencil straight. Don't let it come as a half circle or moving back and forth, okay? Now let's try with the metronome. All right, let's get started. Look at your hand, make sure it's in front of your arm, and make sure that your elbow is closed, keeping your arm against the right side of your body and keeping your hand along the right side of your body in front of your arm as you move up and down. We're just gonna do whole notes. Whole notes get 4 beats of sound, and that means you're gonna go down for 4 beats and up for 4 beats, back and forth. The other word for that is called détaché. It's a French word. Let's try it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3, 4. Stop. Now we're going to try half notes. Half notes get 2 beats of sound. So we're going to go down for 2 beats and then reverse going up for 2 beats. Ready? 1, 2, set, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. And now let's do finally quarter notes. Quarter notes are going to go with the metronome here per beat, and every time you hear it click, that means you're going to reverse the direction. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and stop. Okay, relax. And now we're going to try some exercises here where we're going to review the markings for the bow directions or bow markings in your music. Here's our first example. In the very first measure, you'll see on the first beat, that first quarter note, a bracket. And that little bracket symbol above the note tells us it's a down bow movement. So that particular pitch, the movement is going to be down. The following quarter note has a V above it. That's an up bow marking. So when we get to a pitch that has that, whenever the pitch starts, we move our bow up. Simply put, measure 1 should sound something like this, or look, rather, something like this. Down, up, down, up. So we have 4 sounds, though we only move down twice and up twice. Let's try it with the metronome together. This is the first exercise. You'll notice that the first measure has 4 quarter notes. Then you get to a rest. We'll go over that in just a minute, what we do with the rest. It should be pretty obvious, but we'll review it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now, as soon as we get to the rest, we have a whole rest. That means the whole measure is silent. So we're going to rest for 4 beats. If you look at the time signature at the very beginning, we're at 4/4 time, which means we get 4 beats per measure, and the quarter note gets 1 beat. So then we go to measure 3, and we have another set of 4 quarter notes, same bowing pattern, down, up, and then another measure of silence. Let's try it now the entire way, or the whole thing. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's as simple as that. Relax. So you'll notice that I counted numbers. I didn't just do the bowing. I was counting the beat of when that particular sound was being made. So those are how we count rhythms. And we're going to do air bowing along with it in orchestra so that way we know how the bowing variation works on that rhythm. Now let's go look at this next exercise. We've changed the time signature here. Instead of 4 beats per measure, now we have 3 beats per measure because we're in the time signature 3/4 time. Again, we have the 2 markings, the bracket and the V. Bracket meaning down bow and the V meaning up bow. So take a moment to review it. It's going to be pretty easy. Just like we had in the previous example, we have 1 measure of notes, 1 measure of rest, 1 measure of notes, and another measure of rest. Now in this case, instead of having 4 quarter notes, we have 3 quarter notes. Now whenever you get to a rest, you have to pause your bow, just like we did in the last example, meaning you stop moving so you don't make a sound with your instrument. And when you get to the next measure, you're going to go bowing again when you get to another beat that has a sound, like the quarter note on measure 3. So measure 1, we have a quarter note, quarter note, quarter note. The bowing pattern is down, up, down. Now, when we get to measure 3, we should still be in the down position because the first note of measure 3 has a V above it, hence an up bow. And then the next 2 pitches are down, up, and we end on an up bow. Let's try that together. Get set with the bow, hold in your right hand, and let's count an air bow. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's try that again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Very good. relax. Okay, so now we're looking back at 4/4 time in this next exercise, and this time the rhythm is different. We are adding quarter rests. Quarter rests are like quarter notes, except that quarter rests get one beat of silence. Now you'll see in the very first measure, we have 2 quarter notes, beats 1 and beat 2, and then 2 quarter rests, beat 3 and beat 4 actually, even though it's not written on there. And then you repeat that pattern all the way through. I'm sure you can do this with me. Let's try this together. We're going to air bow and count this exercise. Get your pencil bow ready. Hold it to your side and make sure you have a nice bow hold, nice and relaxed, not in the palm of your hand. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Very good. All right, so now let's look at this exercise. We're going back to 3/4 time, and it's pretty similar to the 4/4 time exercise we just did. Of course, we're just taking away a beat per measure now. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Very good. All right, now on this one, we're back at 4/4 time. I want you to take a moment to review how you would air bow and count this. Go ahead and pause the video and then hit play whenever you're ready. All right, so I think you're ready. Let's go ahead and try to air bow and count this exercise. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 4. All right, if you got that, awesome. If not, let's try this one again and review it a little bit. Ready? So measure 1, we have a quarter note on beat 1, which is a down bow. Then on measure 1, beat 2, you have a rest. Beat 3 and 4 are going to be quarter notes as well. So here's measure 1 only. Ready and go. 1, 3, 4. Now, normally we're used to playing a down bow on beat 1, but on this exercise, beat 1 is an up bow, so that may have what got you confused a little bit. Let's go ahead and try measure 1 to the first quarter note of measure 2. Start over. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, rest. 3, 4, 1. All right, so here's another little twisty one. Let's look at this exercise as 3/4 time. Take a moment to review the counting and the bowing for this exercise. Hit pause and then resume whenever you're ready. All right, if you're ready, let's try this together from the beginning. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 3, 1, 3. 1, 2, 3, 3. Okay, so you may have noticed that we didn't play anything on beat 1 of measure 4. We had 2 beats of silence until we had an up bow on beat 3 of the last measure. Let's try this one again and see if we can do a little bit better. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 3, 1, 3. 1, 2, 3, 3. Okay, so now let's really test your ability to count rhythms and to air bow. Remember that everything we've done so far, including now, is going to be détaché. Détaché just means that we're going to be playing down, up, in that order. We're not going to play two downs and two ups. We're always going to go back and forth between the bowing directions. Remember that the bracket means down bow and the V means up bow. For this example here, you only have one marking put down, and that's the very first beat. And there's no numbers written in the beats. Go ahead and take a moment to pause the video and review the bowings and counts by yourselves. Resume whenever you're ready. Okay, let's see if you got it down. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 4, 2, 3. 1, 2, 4, 3, 4. All right, here's another one. We're looking at 3/4 time again, and let's see if you guys can identify the counts and the bowing variation here. Take a moment to pause the video and resume whenever you're ready. All right, if you're ready, let's get started. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 3. How'd you do? Was that right? All right, here's that next one. You guys ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 4, 3. 1, 2, 3. How'd you do? All right, here's another one. 3/4 time. You ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 2, 2, 3. You got it? All right, up next, we're looking at 5/4 time. 5/4 time means that we have how many beats per measure? That means you have 5 beats per measure. So you're going to find a combination of either 5 quarter notes, 5 quarter rests, or a combination of those two that equal up to 5 beats within the measure. So take a moment and review how you would play this with the counting of the rhythm and the bowing that you would use. The first one's already marked for you, so everything else should kind of fall in order in détaché. Go ahead and pause and then resume when you're ready. All right, guys, let's see if you got 5/4 time down. You ready? I'm going to give you one measure of 5 before we start. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. 2, 3, 5. All right, how'd you guys do? Did you get it right? Okay, so up next, we're going to take a look at a score of a piece of music that we like to play in beginner orchestra that we won't actually play right away. It'll take us as beginners quite some time to get up to this level, but you'll still be able to identify with me the bowing variations and the counts. This is the very first couple measures of the piece called Burst by Brian Balmages. Okay, so I want you guys to take a look at just the violin 1 part. So the violin 1 part has the main melody in this case. It's not always true for all pieces, but normally the violin 1 part is the higher pitched instrument, so it's easier to hear the melody than it is with the lower pitched instruments like the cello and the bass, and the viola for that matter. So very first measure, easy enough, we have 4 quarter notes. So we also know that we're in 4/4 time, which means that each measure we should have a total of 4 beats. So 4 quarter notes, 1 beat each, that equals 4. That makes sense. Let's go to the second measure, and we have now 2 quarter notes and then 4 other notes that are called eighth notes. Now, it takes 2 eighth notes to make 1 quarter note, which is why you'll see 4 eighth notes. Eighth note symbols get half the amount of value of sound than a quarter note does. So while a quarter note gets 1 beat, eighth note only gets half a beat. So eighth notes are actually played twice as fast. So here's what measure 2 would sound like. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Here's that again. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. So what I just played for you is the eighth note pattern on beats 3 and beat 4. You might have noticed that I said the words 3 and 4 and. That's because and is the other part of the beat. There are 2 parts to a beat at this point, and there's the down part, or the beat where the number is said, and then the up part where it's off the beat. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we also have off beats that we call and, in this case when we have eighth notes. So eighth notes can be either on the beat or off the beat. In this case, we have 4 eighth notes, 2 that are on and 2 that are off. Here's those 2 beats again, or those 4 pitches of measure 2. 3 and 4 and. Here it is again. 3 and 4 and. So now we count measure 2, and here's what it sounds like put together. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Here's that bow again. And let's try it together. Ready, and go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Let's go ahead and try the first 2 measures. Don't pay attention to the pitches, just pay attention to the notes. Ready, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Now let's take a look at measure 3. Measure 3, we have another set of quarter notes. Those are easy to do. And then we'll look at measure 4. 4, we have now what are called half notes. Now don't get them confused with eighth notes. The reason why I'm saying that is because it can be confusing. It will later on. Half notes do not get half a beat. Half notes get 2 beats of sound. Now, how you tell the difference between a half note and a quarter note is that the note head is filled in for a quarter note, while the half note's note head is empty, almost like a whole note or just a regular circle. And this one includes the stem for the half note. Now, because half notes get 2 beats, you only see 2 half notes in this measure, because 2 plus 2 equals 4. So how would you count this? Simple. We're going to have the metronome on so you can actually hear how I count that. Ready? Here I go. 1, 3. So the first part of the half note starts on beat 1. The second half note, the first part, starts on beat 3. And I just sing through that with the word that I use to start the bow movement. Here it is again. Ready? Here I go. 1, 3. Try it with me. Ready, and go. 1, 3. Now let's try measures 3 and 4. Measure 3 is the quarter notes. Measure 4 are the half notes. Here we go. Ready, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3. Good. Now, pause the video and take a moment to review the first 4 measures of burst. And then when you're ready, hit play. Okay, so let's try this together. Remember that we're playing détaché. We don't have any rest here, so our bow is constantly moving, but only in the rhythm that we're supposed to be playing it in, whether it be quarter notes, eighth notes, and half notes now. Let's get set, and let's try this together. If you're not comfortable just yet, go ahead and watch first. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3. Now, something you can do that's different is when you use a metronome, some metronomes have a setting where you can have eighth notes being played for the click, so you can feel the subdivision, or actually how fast an eighth note should sound between other eighth notes or other quarter notes. It sounds something like this. You usually hear a lower sounding click for beat 1, or a higher sounding click for the beat, and then you have the and. In this case, for my metronome, the higher pitched click is the beat, and the lower pitched click is the and. So you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, remember that the higher pitched click is the beat, so that's when we move for quarter notes. When you hear both clicks, those are for the eighth notes. When you hear 4 clicks, now we have half notes. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing. Let's try this together now with the eighth note in the background. Get set. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3. All right, hope you did all right. I'm pretty sure you did. Now let's try this together. Make sure that you got it down. If not, pause the video and go back. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3. Okay, so I'm going to add a video now. This is a video I've done a while back where I played the violin one part just by itself, so that way my students could practice along with me. And of course, reviewed the violin bow movement, the notes, the rhythms, and everything else. So let's try to do this with me at the tempo that I'm playing it at, because it will be a little bit faster. Here we go. How'd you do? Did all right? Let's see. I'm going to give you a moment to look at that music again and see if you can follow along with me in the video on the bow movements. Pause the video and take a moment to look over the music.